G'day, I'm Andrew Marshall with the Northern Australia Climate Program at the University of Southern Queensland, and this is a short summary of the Bureau of Meteorology's climate outlook for the Northern Territory for the weeks and months ahead, issued in the few days leading up to the 24th of February 2025. So we'll take a quick look at the rainfall outlooks to begin with, starting with these outlook scenarios, and these are the rainfall totals that have a 75% chance of occurring for your region. So looking ahead to the 3 months from March to May, we are seeing a 75% chance of around 10 to 25 millimetres or so for southern parts of the territory, increasing as we head north to 300 millimetres or more around the Darwin region. Now you can use this magnifying glass feature here as always to drill a little deeper into the forecast, specifying your location of interest. This breaks down the forecast into the chance of different rainfall amounts occurring, and it will give you an idea of how conditions are likely to be compared to the historical median. And you can ask your local climate mate to go through this with you in more detail. Now, just on the Australian monsoon, it's finally arrived after a long wait. It arrived in Darwin on the 7th of February, which is the latest known arrival since records began, although the monsoon trough was established over Western Australia and Queensland in late January. This brought heavy rainfall and led to major flooding, coincident with the return of the Madden-Julian Oscillation to the Australian region. Now let's look at temperatures, and the differences from average for maximum temperature here show warmer conditions of more than a degree above average for the 2 weeks from the 28th of February to the 13th of March, with the southern half of the territory expecting 3 to 4 degrees above average. And here the average is calculated over the 1981 to 2018 period for this time of year. Now for minimum temperatures here, we are also looking at warmer than average conditions for most regions over the next 2 weeks. Now looking at the chance of extremes map for the 3 months from March to May, we're seeing an elevated chance of unusually warm days for most of the territory except Arnhem Land, and an elevated chance of unusually warm nights across the territory. And by unusually warm, we mean the highest 20% of historical temperature records for this time of year based on that 1981 to 2018 period. Now remember that these long-range forecasts for Australian rainfall and temperature do provide the best guidance for local climate, so that is our focus here. And these forecasts consider all ocean and atmosphere conditions that affect seasonal weather and climate. But if you are interested in some of the climate indicators that can influence the forecasts, we'll have a quick look at these now. Now the tropical Pacific has been La Nina-like since late December. However, there is no clear signal of a sustained La Nina event, and the El Nino Southern Oscillation remains neutral. Now, the Bureau's model suggests that we are likely to remain in this neutral range until at least July, and this is consistent with all surveyed international models. The Indian Ocean Dipole, or the IOD, is also neutral and likely to remain so in the next few months. And after its return to the Australian region in late January, the Madden-Julian Oscillation, or the MJO, continued on its eastward journey across the Western Pacific. This led to increased rainfall and cloud cover across Northern Australia in the first half of February. And the MJO has since weakened, but is forecast to strengthen over the Western Hemisphere and African region in the first half of March. And when in this region, the MJO typically suppresses cloudiness and rainfall over Northern Australia. And finally, the Southern Annular Mode, or the SAM, is currently in the neutral range and is forecast to remain so until at least the end of March. All right, now turning to the pasture growth outlook from long paddock for the 3 months from February to April, we are expecting to see pasture growth across the north, as shown here, with many regions showing top tertile growth in response to the expected rainfall in the months ahead. And finally, let's take a look at the Cattle Comfort Index prototype forecast from the Northern Australia Climate Program at nacp.org.au. And these forecasts go out to about 10 days ahead, and they're shown at 3-hourly intervals, which you can move through using the controls under the map. Now, index values between 30 and 35 degrees represent moderate stress to cattle. Values between 35 and 40 degrees represent severe stress, and values above 40 degrees are considered extreme. And we are expecting varying heat stress conditions over Northern Australia, with some extreme conditions to be aware of in the days ahead. As always, for more information and updates, visit the Bureau's climate pages at bom.gov.au/climate. If you have any questions about recent conditions or the use of weather and climate forecasts, please reach out to your local climate mate. And you can read more about the Northern Australia Climate Program at nacp.org.au. See you next month.